And then when we get up here, we're going to deactivate it at the last second. And there we go. We deactivate it. And now we're in low gravity mode. And you can see we get so much air. Oh, there's a jump over there. Fantastic. Let's go. What's up, guys? My name is Khan, and we're back today in Scrap Mechanic, and we're back with another suspension creation. Actually, I haven't done suspension creations in a long time, and it does in fact use the helium mod. But as I was sort of, you know, driving around with the boats and playing around with boats, I thought, wouldn't it be really cool to see if we could make like a sort of low gravity rover? I mean, we were driving those vehicles on the water, and I thought, you know, rather than have the vehicle just float on a surface, what if we could make a vehicle that just had like low gravity everywhere on a map, but just for that vehicle? And so I built two rovers here. They're both completely, I guess, vanilla at their base. This one has the low gravity setup with the helium blocks. We'll look at that in a sec. We're going to take a look at this one, but first I really want to look at how the suspension is set up on these things. So it's a double wishbone suspension. The thing with double wishbone suspension is normally that glitches out a lot. Here I've spawned in a car that I built a while ago, and this is a double wishbone suspension. You can see we've got the two bearings in the back here, which go to a bearing setup here, and a single suspension piece that pivots on either side, and then the same setup on the front. And you know, this works really well for suspension. You know, we can you can see we got good flex and all that and good distance. But the thing is, this creates a suspension glitch in the vehicle, and it's very apparent when we take the vehicle and we drop it. And it's not that powerful, but you can see it doesn't fall quickly. It falls slowly. If that was a normal car, it would drop a lot faster. It definitely has that suspension glitch. And then you can see there, like, look, we're lifting the whole, look at how slow that is. And so it makes the vehicle behave a little bit differently when, you know, when it's inherently stable. And I didn't really want to do that when I was making a low gravity vehicle, because if we make a low gravity vehicle that's already stable, you can't really feel the effect of low gravity. Now, of course, we could have just, you know, made really simple straight suspension and called it a day, but it wouldn't be nearly as cool as doing some double wishbone stuff. I went and looked at a blueprint from this guy you guys may or may not have heard of. His name is Lord Payne. I'm going to include his channel in the description below. He makes a ton of mods for the game, and he's done a ton of cool stuff, but one of the things he did a while ago was make this suspension setup here, and I'm sure other people have made it as well. But this suspension setup is a double wishbone setup, but it doesn't actually have any sort of suspension glitch effect. And so what he's done is the suspension goes through these three bearings here that are sort of lateral, and that removes any suspension of glitch effect. And so you can see when it drops really fast. And this is perfect for a low gravity vehicle. And the main reason is if we apply low gravity to a vehicle that has a suspension glitch, then the suspension glitch will keep the vehicle, you know, stable or balancing in weird spots. And so this vehicle, you can see it falls no matter what. And I thought, well, I have to replicate this suspension design on my own, and that's exactly what I did with these vehicles here. So we've got two pistons at the top here which push down on these two large suspension pieces through this sort of weird, you know, S-tubing kind of thing here, and that gives us this sort of arched way attachment. And then that suspension piece goes to a bearing here, which goes to another two bearings here, sort of in the same setup that Lord Payne has done. And then of course that goes to the bottom of the wishbone, which then goes to either side. And it took me a while to get this setup to work really well, but I think it works really great for this rover. And now we've got a rover that uses a double wishbone setup. I guess it's more of a buggy, not really a rover, but it's got a double wishbone setup, and it doesn't get affected at all by suspension glitches, and it just makes it absolutely amazing to drive. It's so much fun. This is completely vanilla, by the way. There's no weird stuff going on here. I mean, you can completely make it, but you can see it's got great roll to it. And of course, I decided to make a wireframe sort of pipe tubing chassis. I hadn't really done one of those before, and I thought, you know what, let's make a pipe chassis because it'll look cool. But it just drives so well, and it's just so much fun. And you can see, like, if we tilt here, there's no real stability, but we can actually roll ourselves back up just by driving in reverse. No, almost. Can we? Perfect. No, almost. Come on, we can do this. We have it. Nope. There we go. Perfect. I really like the way this thing behaves, and you can see we can just drive up this half pipe, gain lots of speed. It's super great with this suspension piece. And we lost all the speed there. You know, it's fine. We'll go back. We'll do it again. It's great for off-roading though. Of course, we could extend the suspension out and make it so that it sits a lot higher up. I decided to keep it lower just because I like having a low center of gravity. Plus, I thought it looked kind of cool when the suspension flexes on bumps and stuff. But you can see there's no stability glitches, so when we hit a hill, like, it really feels like an off-road vehicle. Every time I make a vehicle with, you know, some crazy complicated suspension, you always end up with these weird suspension glitches. And unless you actually just put straight suspension pieces or do a setup like this where you have all these bearings, you're always getting that suspension glitch effect with like the double wishbones or the single wishbones or McPherson or however you're making your suspension. There's always a little bit of a suspension glitch, which kind of makes your creation more stable, which is good, I mean, for a driving creation, but it also loses the ability to really just kind of roll over terrain. And you know, this thing just drives so well. I really like it. And of course, when we go to make a low gravity vehicle, I had to have something that would just work really well. So kudos to Lord Payne. Of course, I can't take credit for coming up with how to remove that suspension glitch effect. But I just really like the look of these buggies. I think they're super cool, and I think they're super, super fun to drive. So, of course, had to make a low gravity version. And this version, I think, is really, really cool. So it's only a single seater. We had to make some room for some compressed air tanks. And you can see we've sort of taken out a little chunk of the frame in certain spots. We've replaced the metal blocks with the helium blocks, and we've put 6 helium activators on the back, I believe. I think it's 6. Is it 4 or is it 6? I don't remember. It's 6 helium activators, right? So we've got 6 helium activators in the back, same suspension setup, and you can see it's sitting a lot higher now. And it's not actually sitting higher because the suspension is any tougher. This is still suspension set on 2. What's happened is we've got all these compressed air tanks hooked into that switch, but right now the switch is off. And until we turn the switch on, the compressed air tanks are not doing anything, but the helium blocks are. And the helium blocks are trying to lift the whole vehicle off the ground. And so it drives as if we are, you know, we have no gravity here. We're just floating. Now there is still a little bit of gravity, but it's very sort of, you know, floaty. And then of course we hit the 1 button, it'll actually take these compressed air tanks, which are new to the helium mod, which is kind of cool, and it'll activate them, which weighs down the vehicle and actually makes us, you know, drive semi-normal. It's still a little bit lighter feeling than the vanilla mod, but you know, it's still really great, and we can drive, get a lot of speed here, and we're still normal gravity, right? So we're still, you know, a heavy vehicle per se. And then when we get up here, we're going to deactivate it at the last second. And there we go. We deactivate it. And now we're in low gravity mode. And you can see we get so much air. Oh, there's a jump over there. Fantastic. Let's go. Perfect. It's a little easier to drive when you have weight on the vehicle. When you're in low gravity mode, you try and drive. You can see it just kind of wants to wheelie all the time. But I mean, we can just, you know, flip off like a rock, because why not, right? All right, let's go back to gravity mode, and nice little jump here, so we can just, you know, line up on the jumps, get some speed into them, and then just flip on to low gravity. And look at that, you just get so much distance, so much air, and the helium blocks seem to always bring you like straight up no matter what angle you're at. So it's kind of nice because it really just feels like you've lightened up your whole vehicle. But it's not really like losing the weight per se. It gives you like an upward force, so it feels weird. I totally thought there was a jump piece there. There's no jump piece here. Okay, well, I guess we'll just go back to the half pipe. There's also like a hot air burner block now, and these nylon blocks. You can make a hot air balloon that actually has to heat up the way a hot air balloon does, which is kind of cool. But for this one, I didn't want to have that. These buggies are so great though. Like even the vanilla version, I'm gonna drive it all the time now. The way to do this double wishbone suspension, it's just fantastic, and it just makes a lot more fun for driving. You see the vehicle just rolling all the time in different directions and kind of, you know, bouncing. Whereas a vehicle with double wishbone suspension that's glitched, it won't roll nearly as much as that. Still no jump here, so we're just gonna, you know, let's go down here, I guess. I really want just like a flat jump, but of course I am curious as to what you guys think of these creations. I think they're super fun. I'm gonna keep spawning the other one all the time in vanilla worlds. I mean, this one obviously, if you have the helium mod, works great in worlds with that, but it's super fun creation. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you guys do too. Of course, I will upload this one on the workshop. I'll call it like a gravity buggy or low grav buggy or something, but you guys can always check it out. Really simple stuff. It just uses that one mod, and really makes for an interesting driving experience. You know, of course, this isn't really that difficult of a thing to apply to any vehicle, really. I mean, you just gotta take some helium blocks, you know, put on some compressed air tanks, have a lot of space to, you know, really make it, and, you know, you can have low gravity in any vehicle, and it's so much fun to have, so much, you know, such a cool thing to drive around with. And you can see here, this is why we need the suspension glitch to not happen at all. Watch what happens when we go on a little bit of an angle here in low gravity mode. So we're driving in low gravity right now, which is why it's really, really floaty. But if we turn here, and okay, look, there we go. See, you need it to always flop back down like that. If we had the suspension glitches and low gravity, it wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't balance itself back down from like stall positions like this here, right? It would take forever, and it might not even come back down at all. All right, before we go, we're gonna hit this half pipe jump one last time on low gravity, see how far we can get with this vehicle. But of course, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and while you're at it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's see if we can we, no, that's as high as we're gonna get. All right, let's go full speed. Here we go, switch to low. Oh, that was bad. All right, perfect. Turn, do a 180. Or, no. There we go, perfect. All right, full speed. Low gravity. Oh, there we go. The distance wasn't even that far. Well, hopefully you guys can spawn in some worlds with some better jumps than that, but I encourage you to download this, check it out. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.